everybody, my name is Michael Wallace. I'm with Kevin Farmer and Steve Jasinski. We are the Jasinski home team, and we are here at Sugar Creek Golf Course in Villa Park for our golf outing this year. So Steve, we're on the first hole here. A question for you is, how was your first sale in real estate, and how does it still impact you today?
My first sale in real estate was memorable because a great attorney friend referred a client over to me. We went to the house and we just found out from the police they just took the dead body out an hour beforehand. It was still full of dead animals. It was a hoarder. She had stuff from the floor to the ceiling. It had the worst smell you could ever smell in your life. Swarms of flies. That was my introduction to real estate. It was the first house I ever sold. It's not always about big, pretty kitchens. Sometimes it's about getting dirty and getting the work done.
I'm glad that kept you around. Look cool. Let's hit this first hole.
All right, we doing it?
Kevin Farmer, you've been in the real estate business for some time now. Tell me about your first real estate transaction and what are some things you've learned from that and still use to this day?
Sure, absolutely. So you heard from Steve, you know that his first transaction was a little bit difficult, we could say, right? My first few transactions were actually really smooth, and I had great clients with, shall we say, not a lot of baggage. And so they were quote unquote easy. I don't think anything that we do is easy, but in the grand scheme of things, looking back, they were easy transactions. Biggest thing I took away, do what you say you will do. It makes all the difference. It's such a simple philosophy. They're easy words to live by, but I'm telling you, if you do what you say you will do and by when, it makes all the difference in the world as far as running your business and exceeding your clients' expectations. Simple as that.
Love to hear it. What are some trends that you're seeing in the real estate right now, and how do you think they're affecting buyers or sellers?
Absolutely. So suburban market here, still hot as can be, right? Good houses that are priced right, look good, they sell fast for top dollar, usually in the first weekend. City market, a little bit of a different story. We're seeing the inventory increase. Of course, rates affect us a little bit too, right? I don't want to use the R word, but we are going to talk about rates just for a brief second. In the city, right, you have to pay an HOA fee or a homeowners association fee, generally speaking. That's usually a few $100s a month, from $300, let's say, up to $1,200 or $1,500 a month, depending what kind of building you're in, right? So that all takes away from your affordability. So I guess the short answer to the question is, the deals are to be had in the city market. In the suburbs, it is very much pay to play. If you find a house that you love online, chances are there's probably 6 or 8 other buyers that are feeling the same way.
You're here to hear first.
So what's affecting the Chicago real estate market? Michael, there's all kinds of things going on. We've got a rise in interest rates. We've got a lack of inventory. We've got different companies like BlackRock coming in buying cash offers on houses. You got flippers that are still trying to get their properties. For the first-time home buyers right now, it is a challenge. It's an uphill fight. But the way that we work, as you know, we're always out hustling and calling other agents, finding out what's coming on the market, and of course doing a ton of marketing to let people know about what houses we have coming on the market. So between interest rates, BlackRock, people don't have to work from home. Some do have to work from home. We've got all kinds of shifts in the real estate market.
You hear from Steve. So Kevin, real estate faces its challenges. What is a challenge that you've faced and that you've possibly overcome from that?
Sure, absolutely. So I think the big thing is setting expectations. The majority of my clients are millennials, and I think millennials are wired to, when we decide we want something, we actually really wanted it yesterday. So when we start looking at houses and we start making offers, it may not be uncommon in a multiple offer situation for it to take us 3 or 4 or 6 houses before we are under contract. And that's putting our best foot forward, trying to give the seller all the terms that we could want when we're on the buy side. So again, just setting the expectations for the buyer that I understand that you are well qualified, but even despite what we're seeing with high interest rates, but there's still a lot of pent-up demand, and there's a lot of qualified buyers up there. So Don't get discouraged, stay the course. It all works out, and I can tell you that because we've done it time and time again. So,
Work with a professional like Kevin. He knows what's up. Steve, real estate faces a lot of challenges. What is a challenge that you face that you feel like you've overcome in your real estate career?
Well, the biggest challenge I overcame when I got into this industry is I didn't really know the industry. When I was in commercial banking, we worked with a lot of builders and developers, so I have an understanding of housing and mortgage rates and things like that. But I never knew the amount of things that a realtor actually did for their clients and the number of inspections and guidance and experience. And coming in not really knowing what I was doing and not knowing the difference between a split level or a ranch or a two-story or a colonial, I couldn't have told you any of that stuff. I was like, oh, it's brick. It's a brick house, okay. So now I've had to learn so much, and this industry is so expansive. There's a lot to learn. So the best suggestion I can ever give to anybody to kind of overcome all those things, get on a team. Like literally, like get someone under somebody's wing that can help teach you the process and all the different things that come along with it, because it's not just, look, pretty kitchen, sell it for $1 million. There's so much more that goes into this industry. And being on a team will make you be a skyrocket of growing your business.
And that's why Steve's the expert and the team leader. Thanks, Steve. Kevin Farmer, we experience what we call a lot of red flags in our real estate industry. What are some red flags that you've seen either in listing photos or on showings with buyers that you've seen in your career?
yeah, sure, absolutely. Thank you for clarifying that these are real estate related red flags, by the way, because I don't want our audience to be misinterpreted. But anyways, so red flag, my biggest red flag, right, is when you see the listing, you're on Zillow, you're on Trulia, for me, I'm on MLS, I'm going through photos, and I see the agent in the photo, in the mirror picture. I cannot tell you how much that drives me crazy. So agents, please do better. Professional photography, if you really need a resource, this is a small collaborative environment. I'm really happy to refer you to a great photographer so that you don't have to be in your pictures and you can get your clients top dollar. Give them the best service possible, right? That's what we do.
Don't be a red flag.
Don't be a red flag. Please don't be a red flag.
Okay, Steve, in the real estate industry, we experience what we call red flags on certain properties or listings. So what is a red flag that you see or that annoys you for either listing photos or showings with buyers?
You know, it's something that's a total red flag in the real estate industry. When you're reading the broker private remarks, please fax me the offer. Red flag. Let's see, what's another one? Oh, when you get the picture of the agent and they got the coat over their shoulder and they're looking over at you and their hair's like big blonde, like out to here, red flag. Let's see, what's another one? When people have descriptions of, hey, honey, stop the car, red flag. For all those people that don't want to give codes and don't want to do things with real estate, and they say, let's go out and see some houses, and they don't want to get pre-approved, red flag. We got to get some information on those folks too. Or the person who stalks all of your Facebook pictures, especially if you're one of our female agents, stalk all their pictures and say, hey, meet me at this abandoned house at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon to go check it out, red flag. We got all those ones in the real estate industry, and that's our job, is to kind of guide you away from some of those red flags.
Don't be a red flag. So Kevin Farmer, you've been in the business for some time now. Want to reflect on your past career. What are some rewarding moments that you might want to reflect on during this time?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So 5 years.
We'll go from there. Keep going.
Got a little more up to there. So 5 years in the business, right? We're going on my third market that I've seen. And honestly, the most rewarding part is every time we close, whether we're on the sales side, whether we're on the list side, those are big, monumental lifestyle moments for our clients. And it's just awesome to be a part of it and get it across the finish line in a smooth fashion.
I agree. There's nothing like helping out your clients and getting them through the finish line and closing out a good deal.
Yeah, I think you know what, people when they start this process or before they start the process, they don't know what they don't know, and that stops them from actually getting started. And when they get started and they realize, you know, what can be done, how we can market, how we can get them top dollar in the shortest amount of time, it's a win-win for everybody. So that's always the biggest reward, is whether somebody's looking to buy their first home, their third investment property, sell their childhood home. We deal with a lot of circumstances. And when somebody says, like, we could not have done it without you, it makes it all worth it.
It's a great reflection. I love that. Steve, I just want to take a moment to reflect on your career, and what are some rewarding moments being a realtor in the industry alone?
You know, some of the most rewarding things that I've ever had to deal with is really taking care of our clients. Some of them have been first-time buyers, have never seen the process and how we go through things. Others are, you know, veterans, and we're able to kind of help them get along the path. But just getting people from A to Z without a lot of headaches, without a lot of nonsense, and just getting them to be where they want to go. When I reflect on all the other parts that have been rewarding, we've helped clients like kind of swoop in and get a house at the last second. It's a fantastic thing. They still, to this day, are like, Steve, I cannot believe you did that for us. It was amazing. Some of the other rewarding things is actually having people not buy the house that we thought that they're going to buy. When we go into the basement, we go, you need to get out of here. This house is a train wreck. I don't care how pretty it is. I don't care how big those bedrooms are. This thing's leaning. Get out. So it's just doing what's right for the client. And some of them it's move quick, some of it's move slow, some of it's right area, but always doing the right thing for the clients.
Love to hear it. Love to reflect on your past. Thank you. So Steve, how important is it for buyers to look into the lifestyle, neighborhood, the vibes of the area when they're looking for purchasing their property?
Well, you know, vibe is massive importance. I mean, you have to vibe with your realtor, make sure you kind of really understand what you're looking for in a neighborhood and in a house, and how close you need to be to the train. So we encourage our clients to, you know, always be looking around what's in the neighborhood, what's most important to you when we ask those questions. Is it closest to the train? Is it closest to restaurants? Do you want to be close to a certain highway? I mean, there's all kinds of different things that creates a vibe, and then schools and music and park districts and all this kind of cool stuff that makes a neighborhood what it is. You know, do they have farmers markets? Do they not? And what's most important to those clients? So vibe's huge.
Yeah, I agree. Vibes are everything these days.
You know what? Things are always changing. The market's changing, rates are changing, trends are changing, paint colors are changing, right? And I find that the biggest way to get ahead of things is just to stay up on the training, right? There's so many resources that are available to us. Artificial intelligence in our industry is huge right now. And so it's learning to, how do we embrace these tools to serve our clients even more? Whether that's on the list side, whether it's on the buy side, we just always need to be evolving. No matter how good of an agent you think you are, and if you talk to most agents, they think they're an awesome agent, right? And maybe some of them are, but probably the majority of them aren't taking the time to actually further their career, take the time to train, drill down into what's important, and like, how do we serve our clients best? Because at the end of the day, it's all about accomplishing our client's goal. In my Instagram bio, it says, I want to help you achieve your goals. It's closer than you think, right? And when we actually have that conversation, you simply realize, like, having the right person on your side or the right team on your side makes all the difference as far as getting your goals accomplished.
Talk to an expert like Kevin Farmer. So Steve, the real estate world's constantly changing, or that's what they at least portray it. How do you stay up to date in everything that's going on?
There's so much data that's coming out to us on a daily basis from national sites like KCM or Keeping Current Matters to Inman Select, to staying on top of, you know, the Wall Street Journal and what's going on in our local neighborhoods, seeing almost every house that's on the market at broker tours, at open houses, and making sure that we're seeing those properties. So when our clients say, hey, did you see that house over at, 123 Banana Street? We know exactly, like, oh, you're talking about the 2-story, 4-bedroom with the goofy little basement. They're like, oh yeah, you know that house. It just kind of gives you some credibility, because we should know our properties if we're selling them to our clients. So I'm always reading, checking out the stats, checking out houses, and make sure I'm keeping current on what's going on in our neighborhood.
Talk to your expert that knows what's going on, people. Steve, for any buyer or seller out there, what is one piece of advice that you would love to give them right now?
The best piece of advice I can give to any buyer or seller right now is get yourself prepared. On the buy side, the most important thing is get pre-approved with a lender that's credible and knows what the heck they're doing. So when you find that right house, you got to strike while the iron's hot. You've got to move quickly in this marketplace. On the seller side, is prepare your house. Don't just say, okay, we want to move tomorrow and kind of ram your way through it. Make sure we get a good estimate of what your house is, get the house prepped and ready to go, and know where that person's going to go after they've got done selling that house. So you got to prepare the house. For the buyers, you got to prepare yourself to buy. That's the best piece of advice I can give.
You heard it here first, folks. Tim Farmer, what's one piece of advice that you give a buyer or seller in today's day and age and market?
Well, for my sellers, is if you are in a position where you are ready to list, where you're done with your home, maybe you want to cash out on the equity because you bought 5 years ago, maybe because your high school kids are out of the house and you say, why are we sitting around paying this tax bill? My advice for you guys is list it now. Don't listen to the media. I know media is talking about high rates, right? But guess what? In the suburbs here in Chicagoland, sellers with great houses are still seeing multiple offers over list every single time. So for my sellers, what are we waiting for, right? If you're in the position. As far as buyers, it's all about lifestyle. If your lifestyle calls for you to move right now, okay, this is the game that we're playing in. Our experts in the industry have told us that we're not expecting houses to get any cheaper for the next 2 or 3 years, right? We're not probably going to see the year-over-year appreciation that we've seen since pre-COVID, but we are still going to see year-over-year appreciation as predicted, right? So sellers, it's still a great time to list, especially going into the end of 2023. For buyers, if you're sitting around saying, hey, maybe we're waiting for the spring market, or for rates to go down, or for houses to get cheaper, guess what? That's not a guarantee. So again, if your lifestyle calls for it, whether you're on the sale side or you're on the buy side, the time is now. And let's figure out, okay, what does that look like? What does that timeline look like? How does our value in our home compete with what we were thinking it was? Again, we don't know what we don't know, and it all starts by asking the simple question of how do we get this process started?
Great advice. Talk to Kevin Farmer.